Hey, it's David Breslow back here with you. I am the founder of Performance Success Strategies and author of Wired to Win, the 7 keys to play your best golf. And I am also the creator of Wired to Win, 21 Days, Change the Way You Play the Game. Today, I want to talk to you about something really interesting that we all go through on the golf course. It's called interpretation. So here's what's really interesting about interpretation. No matter what is going on, whether it's a person or a situation that's happening right in front of us, we are all interpreting and evaluating and labeling and judging all day long. That's what the mind does. The mind is a classic labeler and judger. It's exactly what the mind does all day long. So it's really interesting, and I call this the 3 lenses exercise. I am going to ask you to practice taking a different viewpoint, a perspective, an interpretation, and an assumption. All those words I use interchangeably. I'm going to ask you to practice 3 different kinds of interpretations that you're not using right now. So what do we do as golfers? We're out there on the golf course. Let's say you step up to the first tee, you hit your first tee ball out of bounds. You had a great practice round and you're having good feelings and you're expecting to start off the round really well. And first shot right out of the chute, you hit it out of bounds or into the water or something else. Anyway, anywhere but the middle of the fairway. And then the interpretations begin. What usually happens? What usually happens is we have this running dialogue that starts to kick off, and it's quite often negative. And it's usually something like, oh, here we go again, or uh-oh, my round is ruined, or uh-oh, I'm not gonna shoot a good score on this first hole, which is gonna affect me for the rest of the round, and on and on and on it goes, right? We are constantly interpreting. We are constantly making assumptions. We are constantly evaluating the people and the conditions that we are in, our environment. So if you hit a shot you don't like, which happens to all of us, of course, and it may happen to you more often than you like, but if you hit a shot you don't like, you are automatically attaching some kind of interpretation on it. So in today's exercise, again, I call it the 3 lenses. I'm going to ask you next time you're either at the driving range or on the golf course to practice 3 different assumptions and interpretations than what you normally do. And this relates to anything that's negative. So anytime you're feeling any kind of negativity over another person or a certain shot or results or outcomes, that's the moment when you check into yourself and say, wait a minute, I can try 3 different variations. What will they be? Now, I'm not going to tell you what they are. When I'm actually working one-on-one with clients, they will often say to me, well, Dave, what should I choose? That I'm not going to do that for you here. That's not what you need. What I'm asking you to do is stretch your mind a little bit, because what you're used to doing is coming up with the negativity, right? You've been doing that for a while. Some of you for years, some of you even decades, okay? You're really good at it. So it's one of the most common things I hear from golfers, by the way, is how do I stop the negativity? Well, this is one way you can start doing that. So it's called the 3 lenses exercise. I'm asking you to look at your reality at that moment with a different set of lenses, okay? Because the lens you're using now is most often pretty negative. Would you be willing to admit that? I hope you are. The lens you're using now is most often a negative one. You start in with the negativity, the self-judgment, the self-condemnation. I'm no good. This always happens to me. I can't believe I did this again. I had such high expectations. I can't believe I blew it. All that, I'll call it garbage. All that garbage comes flying out of your mind because that's what you've been doing for a long, long time in some cases. So this exercise I'm giving you today is a way to break that cycle. Again, it's called the 3 lenses. So I'm asking you, next time you're feeling any kind of negativity, and you can do this at the range, and you can do this on the course itself, the moment you feel that negativity, just remind yourself, okay, wait a minute, I have a choice here. I have 3 options that I can pick. And I'm asking you to stretch your mind now to come up with 3 different responses than the ones you're coming up with now. Because honestly, those aren't really responses. They're automatic. the reactions. You're a reactionary golfer, like 98% of the golfers out there are, maybe more. Most golfers are reactionary golfers. Something happens, boom, the reaction takes place. Then they're running around trying to figure out all these things they can do to help fix the reaction after it happens. Okay, in my opinion, that's way too late. Why do you want to run around spending money, reading a bunch of books, looking online for a bunch of tips for ways to handle all of your anger, your frustration, the negativity, all those fires when they get started? Wouldn't you rather have fewer fires to put out? Every golfer I talk to says, yeah, sure, that'd be great. This is one of those ways you can do that. So start checking in the moment you feel negativity. Check in and remind yourself, I have a moment to give myself 3 different options now. Come up with 3 different options of ways for you to evaluate or to interpret what just happened. You'll be surprised. Because here's one thing I've found with a high percentage of golfers is that probably 80, 85, even 90% of them think that their current interpretations are fixed, because they will make comments to me like, oh, Dave, that's just the way I am. I've been that way for 30 years. Okay. And usually when I hear that, I say, so what? It's just an interpretation. It's got nothing to do with reality. You're just good at it because you practiced it and rehearsed it time and time and time again for days, weeks, months, years, decades. Okay? I think you know what I'm talking about. And just because you've rehearsed it, it just becomes automatic. It's like it's attached to you. But honestly, interpretations are not fixed. They're fluid. You can change one anytime you want. And I'm offering you an exercise today for you to at least start seeing what that feels like. So the moment you feel negativity, I'll say it again, the moment you feel any negativity, just remind yourself, oh, here's an opportunity for me to come up with 3 different options, 3 different ways of seeing this. Now, if you can't come up with all 3, come up with 1, come up with 2, great, it's fine. But you'll be surprised when you're done with this and you realize, oh, I can look at it this way, or I can evaluate it this way, I can interpret it this way. And it'll be a completely different mental, physical, emotional, and energetic experience than what you're used to having out of rote habit. Do you get it? This is hugely important. So 3 lenses, I call it. Give yourself 3 different lenses to look through in any situation where you start to feel a little negative. Okay? So Dave Breslow, really great to be back here with you again. I look forward to speaking with you next time. Here's to your best golf. Take care.